Come to Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Oh, for a die Guam. Hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map. Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Clap. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya to man. Everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to month, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang, strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa, Guam.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seen each other.
It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on one man to save us all. It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on one man to save us all.
take a deep breath. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
We were outside the outlets when someone tried to...
Under these statutes, you don't have the authority.
We will stand tall, face it all together.
Responsible gun ownership is the law.
That sky falls.
Coming from that appellate
Now,
before they realize what we know.
I understand the...
When worlds collide,
Pre-recorded.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Just Pirates Cove, Hafa Hour. This is episode 32, season 2, and it's March 1st, 2026. We've got some exciting guests here today. We've got Doug and Pete, and B and Charlie's here with Doc and Amber Bach. We're all here. Now, we're running late, so I just wanted to mention that the things that I complained about 2 years ago when we first started, nothing has happened. The junk cars are still out there. The potholes are a big subject this week. I mean, this comes up every week, you know, that we have to read the news and see what happens on Guam. So that's the way it is. You know, things aren't moving. And that's why we need new faces, new senators, new governor. Think about independent governor candidacies and be generous with your vote. But first, you got to go vote. And Andrea wants you to like, follow, and share. Please, that's important. Now, we're going to start with Amber. She's going to tell us what we got in the gift shop.
All right, we have Don Farrell's books. We have the Guam: A Brief History, CBs and Super Forts, and Liberation.
Okay, this is his latest book, Don Farrell. This is one that he did before that, and this is his Liberation book that is very, very popular. And we sell these all here in the gift shop. And you know, I told you Don fell down, he hurt his leg, and then he fell again and he hurt his vertebrae. So he's held up in Tinian. And we still have his books down here, and we're hoping he'll get over here in March when the veterans visit from Iwo Jima. So if you want to get one of the great books, we have them. Okay, girl, what else you got?
We have women's tank tops.
Show the back. Nice.
We also have a women's V-neck.
Now, tie-dye is in, and we have tie-dye like you wouldn't believe. Women's, men's, kids, everything.
We have a Guam Seal t-shirt. We also have...
Don't say that's a Guam Seal. You're going to get us arrested. Okay?
That's what... That's what...
No, I changed it. You know, I got 5 coconuts because all my grandkids, and one of my balls here on the beach that I found, the glass float. And it's a little different, but it's front and back like that. Great seller. What's that?
Beautiful.
This is men's tank top, dry fit.
Oh, these are nice shirts, Everybody needs one of those.
We have our pirate flags t-shirt.
These are done in North Carolina by Guy, the greatest t-shirt pirate guy you ever met.
And we have kids tie-dye t-shirts.
Skull and crossbone.
And our new hoodie, the pirate flag.
The pirate flag we have in tank top, short sleeve, long sleeve, and this hoodie. And, you really need this, especially if you want to send a gift to somebody in the States where it's cold, send them one of those.
We have our baseball caps.
Embroidered.
We have skull caps, different colors.
4 colors.
And we have some hats.
Lots of hats from Dorfman Pacific and Stedman. High quality.
Thank you.
And don't forget,
Mo Gold Honey.
got beautiful Mo on here, displaying this honey that comes from the chains of love, found all over Pirates Cove. Very interesting story. But we don't have time for that again. Okay, Amber, we'll see you later. Thank you.
But the bees have time to make honey, though, and I hear you're going to be harvesting some honey pretty soon.
Agupa.
Agupa would be tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, get down to Jeff's Pirates Cove this morning, get up the last batch, and then maybe make pre-order. It's going to be Easter pretty soon, and I'm sure you're going to bring your families over, and they would love some of this Mo Gold honey.
Yeah, when you buy honey in the store, it might not be pure, but this is pure.
And
So
and from Guam.
today we're going to start with Bista, and then we'll talk to Pete.
Yes.
Okay, Bista, please.
Hi, good morning, Guam. I'm Bistra. This is for half-hour news segment, and I'll try to be brief and quick because we have guests, very exciting guests. So, of course, it's very difficult to prepare for news coverage when the news are happening very quickly. And today is a historic day worldwide because the Middle East is again under fire. But even locally, we have some great developments when it comes to the deep sea mining issue. And that also affects how this 2026 election is going to proceed. It just got more interesting. And I'm going to quote a Facebook commentator who said, "Oh man, the dice has now rolled." Indeed, it has. There was a dispute whether or not what was reported in the news by KOEM, whether or not they claimed that Senator Therese Terlahi had requested indeed a seat at the table. It was a closed door meeting on Thursday where she was seen outside protesting together with members of the community. However, she also reported to KOEM that she requested to be there, and then in response, acting Governor Josh Tenorio claimed that that was not true. However, according to Candid, they confirmed with some earlier articles and I believe also some email exchanges that indeed she was telling the truth. So we are seeing the drama unfolding. How is this going to proceed, and how is this going to affect the development of the race for governor? We shall see. However, as of today, there wasn't any filing on behalf of Mr. Lahi, so we have to wait and see how that unfolds. What do you guys think about these news?
So Sunday is a day of peace. No fights going on Sunday.
As of now, yes.
Okay.
Well, Charlie might be speaking a little too soon, because as I was driving over here, they were blasting out on the PA system that Josh Tenorio and his running mate Tina Mooney Barnes are going to be having their kickoff this afternoon. In fact, full disclosure, Josh Tenorio was supposed to be in studio with us this weekend, but his crew cut him. I guess no strings, and so rather than be here, he's down there, I guess, getting ready to call
in the middle of Agania, right?
In the middle of Agania.
I'm going to avoid that place today.
All three headquarters are there because they're literally right across the street from
Well, yes and no. Yes or no?
You want to go to his
Because
place.
I'm right up the block.
Right. And that's a great detour.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Everybody detour towards Charlie's place because it's right there in the former Club Cosmos. Not that many of you know where that is.
Oh, Pokey
Young men leagues of Guam.
And if you can, please use the front door. It seems like
everybody
just
keeps
goes
going to the back door. But but Charlie, I mean that whole center, ever since you set up your store and beans
and
barrels has now taken over Gatineau, and you need to go there if you haven't been there yet, right? You haven't really had your grand opening.
No, March 14th will be the grand opening.
But nobody wants to wait. So every time I go there, there's people there and they're having a good time. Now the Blas Okada team has set up their shop really close to you. So all the teams can go there to order their coffee and their beer in one convenient place. This is great.
I got a
timing.
recommendation for the guys that set up in Linda's cafe over there.
Yes, sir.
The trash next door to that place must be cleaned up. It makes you look bad.
Yeah. Those
You know,
just an abandoned vehicle.
well, that whole area should be just condemned and get it out of there. You
Well,
know?
I mean-
there was a push to do that years ago. To just that whole East Gagnon, if it had a tin roof and it wasn't up to code, it was all to be taken out because a typhoon would take it out. But it didn't, and it just sits there, and it just looks bad for. If I was Blas or whoever, I would go over and say, "You guys get this out of here now."
Yeah,
clean it up.
Even if I had to pay for it, I would do it.
You know, so tensions are heating up, right? I mean, if it is true that Senator Tolahi is going to run, then it'll be interesting to see where she sets up her headquarters, because it seems like that's like the pivotal triangle now.
Yes.
I just want to see who's going to run with her.
That's a big question.
Doug Moylan?
No. We can ask them. Stay tuned. We might ask them. But wait. I know you want this to be peaceful because it's Sunday and it's just bedroom, but let's face it. I think Acting Governor Josh Tenorio fired the first shot. He was not nice when he denied that Teresa Lai had even asked to come into this particular event, because he actually clearly said that she couldn't.
Right.
But he also called her a liar.
Yeah, and that was very unprofessional in my opinion, especially when there was an earlier article around February 3rd, February 3rd, and that was posted in the Guam Daily Post. There was an article stating that she's requesting a seat at the table. What he said actually to Carrie M was that even if she were to be given a seat, they couldn't accommodate it. So it's wishy-washy type of thing. Like, yes, but no.
Unprofessional, but again, I'm not a politician. Well, none of us.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. I thought you were a
Not
politician.
officially. Not officially.
So,
Not officially.
I think the candid, talks, if the lieutenant governor is going to say you're a liar, I mean, there's no other way, I think, that you want to be able to put a conversation like that. So say it how it is. And Doc, I think you would relate to that, right? I mean, you speak your mind. You don't sugarcoat anything.
Well, okay. So, I mean, if he's being like me, shame on him, because I get berated all the time when I start talking bluntly and truth to power. So I think, we elected Josh Tenorio to be a better version of me. And if he's failing, then, I mean, again, he's going to have to clean up his mouth before he gets on our show.
No, but what is wrong with that, though? What is wrong about being blunt?
I don't know. You guys are the ones who harass me all the time. And you folks out there in La La Land, you're the ones saying, don't say bad words. But
No. There was nothing about saying, he didn't say any bad words.
He said liar.
Liars are pretty.
I told you I only lie in bed.
Right. And there's his bed right there. You can't see it, but it's perfectly made. But the point is that, I mean, liar is a word that that's fighting words, right?
Yeah.
And I use certain words when I'm pissed off because I think the hospital is failing and it's going to kill people, Josh or Lou. So when I do that like 10 times, I'm not going to be nice about it. Number 11, right? And I'm already up to 15. I mean, I'm like, what was that show where you put your speaker up to 11? I'm beyond nice.
I would want a little more bluntness from the candidates that are going to run. I want a little more. Tell me how you are. Okay. Don't skate around. Like, all right. Tell me how it is.
Unfiltered.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit
that's the next word, right? Unfiltered. Okay, we gotta get with Pete here. Okay,
we do, but let's bring him in. So we'll cleanse the palate. But we are going to talk about war. So just be prepared. Mr. Pete Titano is in studio with us today from Gigo, and he might fall asleep if we let him sit there too long.
Get him.
I'll bring him over, sir. Mr. Titano, come on over. let me bring you into the studio, into the limelight. You can't see this, folks, but he's wearing his famous green running shoes. And honestly, he's the reason, that's one of the reasons that I brought him in, is because Mr. Taitano is one of the most fit patients that I have at American Medical Center. And don't worry, the rest of you, I'm not going to bring you on the podcast just because you're doing well. But I have to say that, you know, he does everything that you would want in somebody who may have some risk factors for heart disease. I mean, he's also a veteran, so he's had some exposures and things over time as a military veteran that he has to deal with. In fact, that's one of the reasons that I got to take care of him, because he apparently was having some hard time getting access to health care through the VA services up in Agani Heights. And so let me welcome you, Mr. Taitano from Tautau Jigu. He's one, I mean, I guess they're just one clan, and apparently they're all online now. And I hope the diaspora Taitano are also tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends and neighbors that Uncle Pete is on the air. And sir, could you just tell us a little bit about what you think about war? I know we're starting off on a tough topic, but it is top of mind today. You may have heard that the United States and Israel have now begun bombing Iran. So we are at war now with the country of Iran. When you were a little boy, the Japanese, a country of Japan, invaded Guam and took it over, and we were an occupied island. And can you tell us about the time that you were, I guess, chased after by the Japanese, and how did you escape?
To begin with, you know, when the war started here in Guam, when the Japanese invaded Guam, I mean, nobody knew what was happening. But then later on, after that, we find out that the U.S. and Japan are in conflict. So that's what's happening. That's why the war broke up. So what happened during the Japanese and American war here is that when the Japanese came in, they started to torture people. And, you know, whatever they want to do with the tomorrow people here, that's what they do. They torture us and they make us work, labor, and all of this stuff here. And if you don't obey them, I mean, you know, either you get killed or you get punished. All of those sort of bad things. But my experience when the Japanese were here, they were coming up to the mountain, and Mom told me to go to one side of the mountain and look where the Japanese were coming from. So I went over there, as what my mother told me to do, and I watched them going up to the mountain. So what I did is I figured out how can I get these Japanese eluded, go the different direction so they won't come to our area. So what I did is I went over to one side of the mountain and I started to burn the the grass. So that will convince them that tomorrow people over there, either they're cooking or they're working in a farm. So that's what I did. I burned the grass way out on the other side of the mountain, and then they detour themselves over to that side of the area. And so my mom and my family, we moved over to the other side, just the opposite of the fire. So what I did is I tried to get the Japanese more lost away from the mountain. And they find out, I guess, they use a binocular, right? So they use a binocular, and they I guess they spotted me. And so what I did is I took one of these white flag and I tied on a bamboo and I start waving it up in the air. It's pretending like, I'm giving signals to the American plane, so they keep following me all around the mountain until I guess they were tired. And then what they did is they vacated the area, and that was it. So my mom was crying, and he came over to me and he says, "Thank you, you're very smart." I said, "Thank you, Mom. I just want to, save the family."
How old were you?
Maybe 7, 6 years old.
Wow. So this was like 1941 when.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to find me because I was small. And I could, I eluded them inside the short grass. No matter where you go, you can't find me.
Well, and you've always been a good runner. You've been,
Oh, yeah.
You're a part of the famous Taitano boys from Jigo that used to run, I guess, from Jigo down to GW to play basketball against the GW Warriors and still beat them, and then run back home, which is about, I think, about 12 miles one way.
Yeah.
So you, Joe Taitano, and again, Jimmy Taitano, famous coaches to our generation, because they coached Guam High, JFK, and then also were part of the South Pacific Games gold medal basketball team. But those were your puppies, right? I mean, these are your nephews that they followed you, and because I've always admired just how strong you are, and I want to on the air just celebrate your birthday. So your birthday's coming up, I guess, next month.
Yeah,
and your daughter's here to verify all this. And you folks out there, the Taitano clan, spread the word. Uncle Pete is celebrating his birthday. Please send him his presents. The mail's slow, and then now we have this war going on, so things might be. So send it now. And Uncle Pete, how old are you going to be?
Next month on the 14th, I'll be 90.
And so this is an example of what people look like when they're 90 years old on Guam. And it's not unique. I went to another young lady's 90th birthday over at, I forget where, and she was out there dancing. She couldn't find enough partners. All the guys were too drunk or weak to keep up with her. She had to get a dance instructor guy to come. So, the thing is, turning 90 on Guam, it looks like this. I mean, sir, you just came back from the States to visit your sister, and didn't you try to bring her back? What was that trip all about?
Which one?
Your older sister. You said you went to the States and to visit your older sister.
Oh yeah, she's over in Walla Walla, Washington.
Walla Walla, Washington.
Yeah.
Let her know. I mean, again, we don't want to disclose the lady's age, but she's older than you, and apparently she's doing well too. So we have a lot of Guamanians like Mr. Taitano showing us the way, because he's living life. He's traveling. He's got great looking shoes on. Isn't this outfit nice? You just need to get a Pirates Cove shirt out there. But I'm just amazed. And you're a veteran, right? So you also are a U.S. military veteran. What branch, sir?
First, I was drafted in the Army and went to Korea. And then when I came back, I went to school, went back to the mainland and finished school over there. And then I don't know what got into my mind that I wanted to join the Marines.
Oh, Semper Fi.
So I went into the Marines. So then I ended up in Vietnam.
Oh.
So that's my homeland for 2-3 years over there.
Well, okay. So wait a minute. You were in the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And you're a Chamorro guy that kind of looks almost like some of those Vietnamese dudes. How was that experience? What did you do in the Vietnam War?
Oh, I'll tell you what, you have in the military, you have your own MOS, which is your occupation. But in my field, there is no such thing as one occupation. Everything is your occupation. To be alive and to save your comrade and everybody like that. It's not only one, if you're an infantry, you cannot be an infantry, everything. It's got to be overall.
Yeah.
It's a combination,
In the Marine Corps, you're an infantry.
Yeah, everything you do, canyoneer, everything. And they told me, they asked me, says, can you fly the helicopter? I said, of course, I fly the helicopter. Can you fly an airplane? I said, of course, I could fly an airplane. So I did. I flew the airplane in Vietnam.
Oh my God.
And when I came back, I was flying the airplane up at the NAS. So, I mean, you know, that's what it is.
It is what it is.
And,
Charlie?
No. I had one question. I mean, it looks like you're in really good shape. What is your diet consist of now?
Okay. I don't know. A lot of people were saying something like longevity. Longevity is a very complicated issue. Okay. It's around like 360 degrees. Okay. You gotta, every point, you gotta touch. If you don't touch, you're gonna fail. So longevity is a very complicated issue. You know, you gotta remember this, remember that, and you gotta, I mean, you know, it's complicated. You just gotta really work yourself where everything fits right, just right. If it's not right, you're not gonna be right. Either you're dead or you're alive or you're sick or whatever it is. So I said to myself, well, what makes us stay alive? Okay, besides the air, right? So you have to drink water, you have to eat, you have to do a lot of things, take care of your body and all that. So the first thing I said to myself is that for me to stay alive is just do all these natural things that God gave you. If you don't do what God gave you, you're finished. So I look at myself and I said, well, first thing to do is I eat to stay alive. So I watch what I eat. I find out how much do I need to eat and so on down the line, what's good to drink.
Well, what's your favorite food?
Huh?
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is like Kellogg's. But if it's too hot, not good. It's not good. So you got to know how to taper that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When I eat, I keep eating what I like about Kellogg's, right? Then it burns my stomach. I go and see my doctor Hashimoto here. So what he says, okay, he says, Pedro, I'll give you a longevity pill. So he gives me a longevity pill and that heals up my stomach. So, I mean, you know, that's the way it works. You just have to taper what you know. And let's say, let me give you an example. If you're eating, don't eat too much. Don't eat the whole pot of red rice. Okay. Eat maybe about 2 spoons. Walk away. Come back and eat another 2 spoons, maybe another 2-3 hours. But don't eat the whole thing in one time. I mean, you know, it's just not good for you. You know, taper.
And hopefully the water's filtered.
Well, because he does live in Gigo.
Gigo, yeah.
So clearly, this young man has a lot to offer, and there are more people like that as we celebrate tomorrow month, the month of March, and I think there's a lot of reasons to look backwards at what happened to Guam. We need to look forward. There's a lot of great people, Guamanians, throughout the world. I think Mr. Taitano represents some of the great things that people are doing, even in their retirement time. Because again, he's really been an inspiration to me as to he's always moving. So, Mr. Taitano, thank you very much for coming into studio with us. Please, I'm going to join you after we're done with the show over and have lunch with you. But and you know, Bistra has been practicing. She did some warm-ups last night. So we will follow Bistra.
April 14th.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear Pedro. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And I'll join you and Michelle after the show. Come on up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Really great that you came in here. We're gonna pleasure to have you here. We'll come out and join you guys in a few minutes, right? So maybe should we just bring our next guest in because he's been chomping at the bit.
Yep.
I think he's your nephew. Okay, Doug's sucking up to Pedro right now. But, okay. Mr. Moylan, come on down. You get the center seat in this very historic show. Yeah, folks, we're trying to put everything together. You know, we'd love to talk to Mr. Titan all day, but we do need to celebrate this young man, Mr. Doug Moylan, representing the people of Guam as the Attorney General, and he was the first elected Attorney General of Guam. So you're coming into the studio really at a historic time. Could you maybe tell the people that don't know what you've been up to, what is your view of where Guam is as the Attorney General of Guam? And then maybe if you could maybe lead our discussion into the historical context in which Guam is going.
Sure. You know, first of all, God bless our troops, and may they be safe out there right now. There's a lot going on in that part of the world. I know there's a few Chamorro families that had some of their loved ones go out there, from what I understand. So thanks, Vince, and the team here. My name is Doug Moylan. I was honored to be the first elected Attorney General back in the 2002 era. I still remember Jeff when he allowed me to put his signs on his valuable property. And I keep on saying that this piece of property that Jeff has maintained for decades, it's one of the most well-run. You can see it in the structures and how it's weathered all the super typhoons and everything. So, you know, being the first elected AG, I understood it as the chief law enforcement officer, the chief legal officer, but more so and especially now in the second term that, you know, the people of Guam were honored. I'm honored to have been elected, the sixth elected Attorney General also, to improve our quality of life. That's what it comes down to. We're at an age now, and, you know, just listening to the conversation, we're all angry because we've lived here all our lives. We're getting to that point in our life. We're looking back like Don Pedro and going, where have we gone from like the 1960s is my memory all the way to now, and our quality of life is going down. It's gone from huge amounts of money coming in. 20 years ago, we had a $300 to $400 million budget. Now we've got an amazing $1.4 billion budget, and the quality of life is going down the toilet. So I hear and I feel the aggravation, people using language, whatever. But that's what I'm here to do now, is to be the catalyst for change, to get these governors to do their job. And that word fiduciary, that idea that you're managing the people's money, you've got the responsibility and the trust of the people. Quit screwing Guam up, because I'm telling you, this administration, and she's my aunt, Affligui, my grandfather's in Affligui. She has messed this island up for 8 years, in my opinion. And again, the proof is in what we're seeing. So the Attorney General has the ability, and we lawyers are gifted to be the top of the top, right? We're licensed professionals, like the doctors. We have much to offer. And when you're in a position like mine, I put the team together, and then we do what the people asked me to do, and everybody under me is held to that. So my feeling is that with our voice today, the internet, and I keep on reminding people, it was my generation, my team, 1980s that created the internet. When you look at these little kids out there with the internet thinking they're better than you, it's kind of like, did you know the internet came from the late 1980s and 1990s? So, but the communication and the ability to get information at your fingertips, we're using it like with this podcast now to touch people. We don't have to wait for newspapers or for people interviewing us. We can literally go on podcasts and explain to them our view of what we need to do as a community to get us to that position where you go to Hawaii, California. That's why we're losing so many people. The quality of life is better out there. And I'm not sugarcoating it. Like Jeff said, what are all these cars doing all over the place? Why are we charging people for trash pickup? They're going to dump the trash, and I live in Denado. They're just dumping it on the side of the road. the government, like it did when I remember the 70s and 80s, they just charge everybody in their taxes for trash pickup. Don't charge them a special fee because nobody's going to pay it. They're going to be dumping their trash on the side of the road. And it's so self-defeating as a people.
So Doug, if the abandoned vehicles are a hazard to the community and you as AG, can you act on that?
Absolutely. What we did when I came in 2020, that was one of the promises I made in 2022 when I ran for office, is to clean this place up. I did it in the last 2006 year, I believe, and the newspaper articles support that. We were citing those people with the VIN numbers and the engine numbers. You know, they tried to take the license. No. You can identify those cars. We were working with Rev and Tax. This governor, and I like Josh and all that jazz. I sat with those guys. I probably met with them 4 or 5 times on the ability of Guam to pick those cars up and then get them out of here. Because Guam is an island. There's no way that you can get rid of those things unless you put them on a ship and get them out of here. That's
How
been the
about
method.
building a reef?
Well, this is in that Euro car. It was C.Y. Leong. It's a Dave Lujan, it's a Joe Lujan, and I think there was a third one. The recycler up north. Only 3 people on Guam have the history of being able to dispose of those cars. And they were willing to, and I talked to each one of them. I sat down with that lieutenant governor 3 or 4 different times and nothing. We had the EPA there, we had the conference room filled up, and I kept on telling them, you guys better cut the red tape, just go out and pay these guys because we're killing ourselves. With those fluids in those cars going to the drinking water, and don't get me started on what the poison that they're doing up north with that darn, and I'll say it, damn Okudu power station. They've got the pipelines underneath the road. So when they pressurize those lines, get ready. There's going to be further contamination in our water lines when they break, and they finally found out about it. We're investigating that right now and how they got those permits.
And if we do ask you any questions that kind of lean more towards a legal or you can't answer, but from a people's perspective, we're paying into something that we're getting nothing in return. Right. And we're putting, let's put the tax away, but this fee, right? It's $25 or $30.
Exactly.
As the people who pay into this, and we're getting what rights do we have to be able to call out the administration and say, I'm not going to pay anymore? Because I'm trying to form a group that will stop paying this fee. But obviously they're going to get pulled over, they're going to get a ticket. And,
First of all, the senators, and this is why if you want to litigate it, okay, let's go fight and we'll spend the next few years in court. I am always looking at ways to get around this. So for that thing, first of all, mobilize the Republican senators. They are supposed to be there espousing conservative values, going after good fiscal responsibility. The public auditor, the Republican senators, and this legislature needs to do, first of all, the audit. And I'm always hearing it from the senators, Senator Duenas. You watch the committee of the whole, where's the money going? This governor is an art at taking money and hiding it and not showing us where it's going. And that's been a big red flag. The money that you're paying for the registration that's supposed to be taking these vehicles and dumping them, getting them off of Guam, there is a big question on that. We've got the investigative grand jury, but when you got BJ Cruz out there, who I have a lot of respect for, and then you've got this Republican legislature, and again, I'm taking the Republicans to task on it. The people of Guam gave them an opportunity to shine. Have they shined or not, that will be seen in the next election. But I mean, this is how we do things. You call the oversight hearing, you get the Rev and Tax Director to show where the money went. Show me the money, where did it go?
And you touched on now you see it, now you don't type of management, right, with the monies.
Right.
And so one of the things that we have heard, and Senator Duenas has been good about pointing out, the where the monies are lying and how they're shifting. But one of the things that there's been a lot of chatter on how the procurement system is flawed, but they're but they're using it. The administration is using it as a means.
It's all subterfuge. It's the lack of leadership. Exactly. It's the idea that, and that's why I said 3 or 4 times I sat with that lieutenant governor and his team, and nothing's come up from it. It's the idea that, and DPW was one of them. We had DPW in the room, and I says, if you need to, just issue an RFP on who's out there. But we already know that there's 4 groups on Guam that have traditionally taken those vehicles, stripped them, put them in a container, and then got them on a ship. And I said, hook up with the FSM, with Saipan, all these areas, these islands, they want to get rid of all these cars. We're killing ourselves. We talk about tourism, we're spinning our wheels. Those junk cars are an eyesore on Guam. The statistics are coming in, same thing that they were 20 years ago. People come to Guam and they don't want to come back.
Come back.
You look at the Reddit reviews on Guam. I just saw one last night. It's a torpedoing of Guam completely. And it's true what these people are posting.
What was a little bit of a snippet of that?
Oh, it was the abandoned cars. It was the panhandlers.
That's what they were
It's-
saying on the,
Yes,
in
it's
the post?
check Reddit
Wow.
because it's an evaluation on Guam, and it came up on Google when I was checking out that that ocean management, energy management at
Moylan.
DUI.
How about
Right.
the roads?
Don't even get me started on that one because these people that are the leaders of our community are not leaders. They're sitting in there on their asses and they're getting your vote. Then they're controlling the taxpayer monies and they're not doing anything.
And this last year, they're really not doing anything.
The roads are a multi-million-dollar investment by our people. So when you get, and by the way, one of the greatest offenders is the CCU. Simon Sanchez and those guys up there, they all should be fired. The digging up at the roads, they dig them up and then they leave a pothole or a speed bump. And that Bella Road area, I live in Machechi. I literally called, we have an ongoing investigation on it with the documents coming in from the CCU and DPW. Those guys are being paid top dollar, over $100,000, including the director. He is supposed to be protecting as a fiduciary our roads. Those side roads, what do you call it? The village roads have been torn up by whoever it was, but they did not track them and repair them properly. And we floated ideas to them, and I'm the Attorney General. I'm not the policymaker, but at the same time, we will indict them. That's why we pulled those records in. And of course, you get the right governor in, and you don't have to threaten anybody. All you got to do is sit down with them and say, fix the roads. You're the steward. Do not let anyone touch those roads. And if you fix them, you guys fix them. Don't let these guys fix them. But CCU, those guys are not in the business of fixing roads, but they're destroying everything. Every time they fix a water break.
And we definitely don't want to go into litigation, spend time in court, but I did have a discussion with somebody this week and saying, we're getting to the point where a class action lawsuit should be filed between the folks that are dying in car accidents, vehicles. I mean, there's no lights on the streets are not getting marked.
And that's the question in our community. Do we go by lawsuit? Because we're the head drum. If they find out that the government of Guam was complicit in poisoning people, of course, they got an approximate cause issue on what exactly is going on up there and what effects it's doing to the people. But do we have to litigate this, or did the senators get together with the experts and then decide what is the government of Guam going to do for taking care of them? It's like somewhat like they did with the Catholic Church, is they came forward and say that we're going to have to pay the damages. If you litigate things, and that's the problem with being an attorney, you litigate things and you will never see daylight because everybody's appealing it, everybody's taking it to a different court, and you're going to be dead by the time that a decision comes up. We're talking 10-year type litigations with this type of
Plus,
issue.
let's not forget that type of litigation will cost the taxpayer quite a lot. So is
Transaction
it worth it?
costs, and then you got the attorney's fees. We got our lunch handed to us when I knew that I told those guys that equal protection problem that they had with the Chamorro Land Trust, with the Chamorro only vote. You need to go to Congress like the Hawaiians did. Get the Congress to acknowledge that Guam has a right to decide what its future is, or you have a right to separate and violate the equal protection clause. It's been done with the American nation and so forth. We paid over $1 million to those attorneys that showed us what American law is. These senators that bury their heads in the sand, ignoring the Constitution, and that's why I always say, before you vote for people, look at their background. And I don't like pushing the attorneys because a lot of these attorneys I think are dead weight. But if they're educated and capable of running our government, give them that chance. And I do believe in the what is it, the Jimmy Stewart thing, that guy that all he wants to do is to do good. But you need capability in the legislature for 2 years. They're spending the first year learning their job, and then the second year running for election. You need to put people in that have a background. Trish Chalahi, attorney, I served as legislative counsel, and she was the minority counsel for 6 years. That's who runs our system, our attorneys. At the same time, there's educated businessmen, doctors, other people to contribute. And that's why when you run as a party, you need to work as a party. you need to get the Republicans to show us what the brand of Republican means to our people.
I agree.
They're gonna listen,
However,
and so-
we're facing something that Guam faces as well. Now that we have so many open seats, what's going on is institutional knowledge is going to be out the door, and there's not going to be any mentorship. So how is that going to affect us? We shall see. Because I mean, people who are just now trying to enter into the legislature, they will not be able to be mentored by the people who already have that institutional knowledge. So because you have to follow the Mason's manual and all those little intricacies of being in the legislature and all the terminology, etc. So yeah, we're up for a pickle, I think, in the next 2 years.
I mean, there has to be a balance with lawyers as well. I
Yeah.
mean, we can't be run by lawyers either.
Oh, no, but look at Congress. They're all run by lawyers. But look at
Right.
Congress.
Well, that's
But my point is the good people that are credentialed and capable of running. First of all, we shouldn't even be having this conversation. The governor should be fixing everything. The governor controls probably 80% of that $1.4 billion that we, the people, are putting in our economy. She has done nothing for the last, she's got nothing to promote. You looked at her State of the Island address, all she's doing is accusing me of this and that. She's not doing anything for our citizens with the last 3 years.
You're the boogeyman.
Well,
You're the boogeyman.
It started when she tried to get me to sign off on that harebrained Admiral lease for the $1.5 billion hospital.
Eagles Field, yeah.
Yeah, then she transformed it into the ARP harebrained idea. So we are in danger of losing $105 million. In December 2024, I asked them, sit down and let's figure out a way to do this legally. They just steamrolled it. It's the whole idea.
Why do you think she was motivated to put it in Manila?
Pride. The downfall before everybody. She was so prideful that she wanted to build a medical complex. We can't even pay for a current hospital. The income of that hospital is negative. We paid $40 million this year just to keep them afloat. And she wants to build a $1.5 billion, and that's just the structure. You're not talking about the doctors, the staff, the equipment, the specialties that you would have in there. Her head is so far in the ozone layer that she's hurting us. That's why I say we can't even wait another year until she's out. She needs to get out now because it's destroying our quality of life. People are dying, like Vince said.
Yeah, just real quick, Charlie, you're going to be next. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this kind of content. This doesn't happen for free. It's not magic. It's a lot of hard work. We got to, give full kudos to our production team. They've been working overtime to make this feel this good, this important, this historical. We have a question, I believe, from one of the listeners that's been waiting patiently to get something asked of you, Doug. Andrea?
Yeah, one of the questions is, if you can just give me a minute and Charlie.
No, I just want to say this is the first time that I've seen Doc speechless.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a first for everything.
Honestly, truth be known,
you're agreeing to
I'm a ventriloquist. This is, when he speaks, I'm inspired by him. So, I mean, again.
But you need to talk.
Is this your physician as well? I don't know. I mean, if not your medical.
Are you treating the entire?
No, but I just.
Again,
Sorry, don't want to.
One of the questions was from Ed. He was asking, what is the solution to fix a GSA at E-Cruise or GWSA? More than $500 million has gone to tell everyone how to streamline and improve the GSA procurement process.
GSA, General Services Agency.
Yes.
Well, first of all, you need a good governor. And I'm telling you, those guys, the system was revamped in 1982 to create this procurement system based upon, I think it was some California municipality they took it from. But how do you fix it? First of all, the administration of it is where there's a lot of the problems. Everybody's got to get a module in order to learn how to do the procurement. Whether or not they're training people, this and that, it's the speed, right? So what the legislature has done was for important projects, like when they needed those generators down in Cabras, they forwent the procurement system, and then they took the best bidders that was recommended by, at that time, it was the GPA, now it's the CCU. They've done it twice. In my memory, in the 1990s, they did it. They did it most recently for these fast track generators when they were load shedding again. And I guess that's how they're bypassing it in order to avoid the bureaucracy is the word, the slowdown. But really it's administration, in my opinion. It's because the people that this governor, again, it goes always back to the governor. Her cabinet official is the Department of Administration official that she put there. You watch those public hearings where the senators are grilling him and they're Gita and all the people around that. And it's always a shell game with the money. Where's the money going? The public auditor is swamped. The AG's office is swamped. And you're also talking about we lawyers should be in there helping. But what is she doing? She's preventing me from hiring attorneys. Like doctors, there's not enough lawyers on Guam. And that's a testament to how bad this island is. And we're literally hiring them from off island. So you're trying to get people to come to Guam. They're going on the internet. They're seeing what a shithole this island is because of this governor. It's kind of like it's a vicious cycle of destruction. That's what, at the end of the day, it's hurting we that live on Guam. That's why I say when you sum up what the purpose of the Attorney General is, I don't care about the litigation. I don't care about the legal briefs. I don't care about the opinions. The question for me as an Attorney General is what we're doing improving our quality of life. Is what we're doing fixing the potholes. Is what we're doing getting the trash picked up, getting rid of those cars. Because you will not have a tourism industry and we're having our lunch handed to us. There are people coming into Guam. They're not spending. The Tumon is turned into a flea market. There's everything is going downhill for our community. Chuck E. Cheese. You talk to people that went to JFK, Senator Lujan. He talks about a JFK that had everything. You go to the States, the band, that all those things you see in a first-rate high school or any high school in the States, we're losing. We can't even put our kids in school for the regular, 7-hour day, morning and afternoons. JFK, which was one of the best high schools on Guam, is now being burdened with Simon Sanchez kids in the half-day sessions. We are destroying the future. We're destroying our current quality of life. No wonder everybody's leaving. So
Can I just pull back a little bit because we have been hosting up and coming candidates. So what I've heard about one of the things which you say we're having a hard time recruiting attorneys. What I've heard was the exact opposite, and it was more geared towards we're having a problem retaining attorneys. How would you respond to that?
Well, both ways. First of all, like I was honored enough I got a scholarship back in the 1990s from ProTech, the Professional Technical Award. They realized back in the 1988 era that Guam didn't have enough doctors and lawyers. And they still have the program here. They needed to give scholarships to our own people so that you get the degree, you come back and you don't have to pay it. You stay in the States, you're gonna have to pay back the loan. So those programs need to be focused upon by the legislature and allow for more lawyers to be incentivized to come back. Because who better to live on Guam than those that grew up on Guam and are from Guam? Now, we are having a problem with recruiting. My team is amazing on how they're bringing in lawyers, but we're getting the hits and misses. You know, Guam is always known for those people that are running away from something in the States, coming out here or doing whatever, not as capable because they're earning more money in the States and so forth. But this is how I run the Attorney General's office. I don't care. No excuses. We will bring in who we need to, and you will fulfill the promise that I made in 2022. There is only one Attorney General on Guam, and that person is elected for 4 years to fulfill their promise. After that, I'm the ultimate temporary employee.
Let me ask another question regarding that. I believe it was maybe last week, there was a report that we are lacking a specialty type of attorney. I believe it was. I mean, how does that affect your job? You know, when you don't have because you know every attorney has a
Guam is lacking. You talk to the doctors. We don't have a heart surgeon here. We don't have a neurologist here. You know, same thing with attorneys.
Very similar.
We don't have enough attorneys on Guam. The tax specialists, even the divorce attorneys. Anyone that's looking at a divorce right now, they used to require a 5,000 retainer. I'm hearing it as high as 20,000.
Oh, wow.
Who can afford an attorney if the attorney won't even hear you out? Because they require you put the money up front. So you name all the professions, and this has been recognized by the Supreme Court of Guam. That's why they increased when I came in 2022, 2023, they increased the temporary licenses from 5 years to now 8 years. And I'm not sure what the doctors have a conversation right now. I think the nurses about bringing in more.
Reinstating even some. Yeah.
International doctors.
Yeah.
Right. But lawyers, you can't do that
Mhm.
because it's all specific to the government.
Mhm.
That's why we can't have the
So
Filipino.
could the
lawyers come in.
legislature fix that by fixing the current statute or no?
They couldn't because they're trained in a different law.
Mhm.
Yeah, American law is specific to the United States.
Mhm.
Obviously, the physiology is more broad-based and people training to be doctors. So, but Bistro, it comes back to that question. We're winning our trials. We're making a difference. See, we've gone to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs now. We need to have shelter and safety. You cannot have a government and enjoy all the other the promises of the American dream, the Constitution of what is it? Democracy and prosperity and safety until you have safety. This governor has stood in my way. We've got a meth problem on Guam. Everybody's turning into a meth addict that can't fight off the whole idea that should you take drugs or not. That's why we've got the meth kills program and so forth. That meth is coming through the oceans. It's coming through the port.
But wait, let me stop you
ocean.
right there. Let me stop you right there. Didn't we just see the report in the news that was not
That's
actually
BS.
the truth?
The 5
So
weeks-
how would you
that
say?
5-week little thing.
Yeah.
If you wanted it to be an effective
Mhm.
test of whether drugs are coming in,
Mhm.
you put the Attorney General in charge of it. The Attorney General already is Guam's chief legal officer, chief law enforcement. Why is it that Customs, which is under us, never told us, never called me up, never called my chief prosecutor up and says, we're going to be doing a targeted a survey, a type of, inspection, random inspection. They never did that. So what that told me was that it's all rigged. It's rigged in the port.
So you
rigged
post
with the stevedores.
that news that broke
It's all BS.
Okay.
Lisa, if we could just say, I mean, we are calling out the customs director because I think it's Ike Pareto, right?
Absolutely.
And he paraded out this report that says there's no
It's
ice
not coming. Yeah, it's not coming to the ocean.
There's nothing coming here in port. Come on, buddy.
But we also-
there's bags of cocaine washing
It's
outside
washing,
Jeff
yeah.
How can you possibly live with yourself when you're lying to the people of Guam?
But
that's called corruption, Mr. Pareto.
Yeah.
That's called corruption.
I just want to add on, I know for a fact that the other statement is true, that we're getting it through our USPS system.
Well, no, but to say that it's not coming on the water
but
and then printing a
unfortunately, we
report that says there's nothing coming through the port, you're an idiot. That's an
It's
idiotic
coming
thing.
everywhere.
It is.
But not through Aurora.
Can't you tell them to test the government employees?
Yeah, that's the thing. Why don't we test the customs guys?
In the bill that I sent to the legislature, especially the AG's office, it was basically, if you're found with meth, you're out of there. But again, we're dealing with the symptoms of the problem. What you need to do is find the mass quantity. It's not the post office. They're stupid enough to go through the post office. They deserve to get caught.
They're dumb.
Okay,
For sure.
so
Those dogs
They
are
are
older.
dumb.
It's not the locals. It's the federals in Hawaii, California, Guam, all the input into Guam. In addition to Guam, they're running the dogs and they're finding them. So that dog and pony show that the governor did, putting those drugs out, and Pareto taking credit for what the U.S. Postal Service, feds are doing, was the bogusness of it. What Guam needs to do is drive the quantity down. Once we drive the quantity down, the price goes up, the usage goes down. The Micronesians never were taking drugs. They were never drug addicts. They were only on the alcohol. Now we're finding massive FSM people,
uptake,
lower incomes are
Distributors.
all getting meth
Yeah.
because you can either get a 6-pack of beer on a weekend or 6 totes of meth. And this bogus thing that the price has gone up, I haven't seen it. And you look at the newspapers, the social media, they're getting pulled over every day. These meth addicts in their cars, they're driving nuts and they're getting pulled over. But what's scary is they got a gun in there. And that's where they're going to your house to steal your stuff so that they can feed their addiction. They're becoming like vampires. I call them vampires because they can't help themselves and they're biting everybody.
Yeah, I have no sympathy for any meth or drug user that goes out and just wrecks the peace and safety of any family.
Destroying the good people. These people that are being found with the addiction are the people that go to church with us when we're young. They're high school students with us. Their lives are being destroyed. And the difference with meth is it's synthetic and it was specifically geared to transform the brain. Unlike the other drugs, the more opiate types, the more the natural drugs, they don't have that addiction. And the doctor can talk to that. But I'm seeing it from empirically. And where is the statistics of the adult drug court? Where are those recidivism rates?
Mhm.
Because we're seeing at the AG's office. That's why the first thing I do whenever I look at resolving anybody's case, I want to know what the rap sheet is. If they've been arrested for theft, possession, I don't care if they've been convicted. Once that's in that rap sheet, we do not do pleas with these people because they're dangerous.
Yeah.
Because we let these guys out, and that's the catch release report that we issue. And it's showing, and I got to give credit to the judges because now they're keeping more people in. The prison is overcrowded because of me, and I'm going to take credit for that because in 2023 there was no overcrowding, but because of the judges' reaction, our reports are putting it out there. This disease, the prisons are now overcrowded, but we're dealing with the symptoms again.
So one of the major kind of remedies you've been advocating and pushing forward is the extradition of the people that are recidivists. I actually happened to find the 40 pages plus that you publish on the Attorney General's office website with who actually is being deported. Oh my God, when I went and look at the rap sheet, again, no sympathy. I mean, these are but there's also the rebuttal. I always try to take balanced approach to things by taking into account like the yay and the naysayers. So the naysayers are saying, well, I cannot agree with just releasing that person to be let free in another country. But at the same time, we are taking with that approach, we're sort of taking Guam first type of agenda. So if you're here,
No, wait. I disagree because that lets the people from the FSM, the government there, off the hook. They're getting millions of dollars in U.S. federal aid to uphold this treaty that allows their citizens to go immigrate into the United States with very little filter, right? So when they get here, their only job is to work, go to school, improve their lives. Their job is not to hurt people or take drugs or drink alcohol. So you, Mr. President of the FSM, Federal States of Micronesia, you need to take your people back. You need to be paying for their deportation. Right now, we're paying for their deportation. We're paying for their incarceration. We're paying for their drug treatment. That's not part of the deal, buddy. They're getting millions of dollars to take care of their people. Yet I'm gonna accuse you, sir, because you came here and you didn't address the issue. You know that your people are getting into trouble here. You didn't go to the prison. 33% of the guys up at DOC are from Chuk, that one particular state. That's the thing. You need to talk to your people up there and take them home because they're learning how to do meth at DOC.
And what is happening, this issue specifically is always being in center of politics, deeply, highly politicized. Remember the big rally, the peace rally we had, a lot of people are joining hands and we're together. And there was a lot of articles that were written on the subject,
Are you talking like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. On the
those people didn't say anything. They stood there and held hands and said, I'm a good Chukis. I'm a good Micronesian. They had no solution to the bad.
There is
The thing is that, let's just be crystal clear. 90% of the people from Chuk are great people. A lot of them work here.
Absolutely.
On bands, they work here. We have no trouble with them. It's those 10% motherfuckers who we need to get the hell out of here because we're wasting another show talking about them. We're wasting another time worrying about them. This is not my job.
But this goes back to what's happening on the federal side with the president. The president understands exactly. We all know where the drugs are coming from, but we've never gone after the drug dealers in Mexico, in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and now we are. So here locally, we also know where the drugs are coming.
I think a lot of politicians are involved.
Yeah, so laundering of money.
So
exactly.
And
you poor people need to come clean.
And I think it would start with the governor pushing down that agenda, saying, I'm going to go after you. I'm going to go after.
I think the governors have been involved over the years.
Here's the thing, Lou, stand up and say you're not in condoning this, letting it go. Don't be like Josh and sleeping in the same bed with it and say, I don't know what's happening.
And I would say somebody that has worked in the shipping industry for over 25 years, if Guam is the only port that I know of that drugs are not coming through, I would like to use it. I would like to use it as a case study.
A pirate nation plaque on your.
I got Long Beach and then the Florida side. This is within the past 2 years. Those two ports and the containers and the consolidators, they all were arrested by DOJ because they were not only just the drugs coming in, the fentanyl in the States, it was the counterfeit goods. It's a racketeering organization.
And it's always, and I will tell you, and this is this is not inside. So, I mean, it's
Yeah,
always
go
an
ahead, go ahead.
inside job because you have hundreds and thousands of containers with so many different numbers.
Yeah.
It is very impossible to just to say, let me choose this one randomly.
Before we get in trouble, because what you're alleging is that there's inside corruption down at the Guam Port Authority. Rory Spicio and Ike Pareto are involved. You two guys need to stand up, right, and protect your reputation. Because if it's not true, you have the power to prove us wrong. Because what he's saying is there's no port that's clean. You, Ike Pareto, just said there's no drugs coming through the port. Somebody's lying.
Right.
Dude, do your job. Because again, this is a really critical time. No one's joking, right?
Who's going to punish them?
Yeah.
Doug, who's going to punish them?
It's up to the governor.
Right.
No, it's the attorney general. He's the chief law
U.S.
officer.
attorney and our office are working together, and we're going to get them. But as Vince is saying,
I'm Batman.
to get the Port Authority employees to come forward,
Yeah.
go sit with the
Come on.
FBI guys the
Before you
DEA
get
guys,
done.
and ours. I don't
This
care
is not
if you
funny,
talk to
buddy.
us. Just talk to the DEA and the FBI and let them know what you're seeing. Let them know about those cameras. Let them know about what's in those containers and the equipment, the vehicles that they're being left by themselves and there's no inspections going on it. The container locks, the 100 container locks every month that I was told by customs agents that they were being cut and they were being a replacement was putting on it. That was the Long Beach, California hit. But they were even better because Guams are coming in with a little bit of the numbers off. In California, they actually duplicated them perfectly. And
Yeah, I mean,
they take
I mean,
lots.
I've seen it all. All I'm saying is, if Guam is truly the only port that I know that drugs aren't coming through, I would like to use it as a case study and put it out there and say, look, because I've worked in Puerto Rico, I've done business in Dominican. I mean, I've done in all the major Caribbean islands.
So you compare the arrests for possession of meth against what Rory is saying, and the numbers don't justify what the UPS, United States Postal Service has found. They're just, the price is too low, and the number of people getting arrested and found with possession of meth are too high. It's coming in here, and this is an island. It's not like they're coming over the border. It's coming through the container ships, those fishing boats that go out to the ocean, coming back, not through the port, but through all those landing sites. So the governor's conservation officers, the governor's customs, the governor's port authority, it's coming in through the governor. Change the governor immediately.
And there is, last thing on this subject, there is a book, and this is something that I teach at university as well, is that, the cartel has one of the best supply chain management in the world. They actually have a vice president of supply chain management distribution. No, this is honest. And now they've added now they have submarines. I mean, so they're going underwater. They have the best trucking system, rail system, air system, warehousing system, delivery system. I mean, it is
Trump is blowing them up, right?
It's unbelievable.
Well, now they're blowing up Puerto Vallarta, right? I mean, there's a war going on because they just took out Mencho, and so I mean, if Lulian Guerrero and Josh Chinori are trying to use Mexico as our example, you guys want to turn us into a drug cartel state? Look what the price you pay. All the politicians are getting slain.
But in our own people that once they become addicted, they're no longer viable as employees. They're stealing from the company. They're not showing up anymore. We're seeing it all over in the AG's office. These people getting arrested every day, they have fallen not only from their families, they've fallen out of their job ability to maintain a viable job. We have a brain drain in all different ways. You talk about rebuilding Guam, you can't rebuild it when you don't have a infrastructure of people. And when they're all addicts, it's not going to work.
The other question is to you, Doug, and whether you want to answer or not is, are you going to run for AG or are you going to look for a different higher office?
Right now, the Attorney General's office, if I was to vacate that, you'd have a huge vacuum. I've taken a look at who's out there right now. So I've decided that I'm going to be running for the Attorney General's office for a third term. But I mean, but it's not the glamour of running. It's the desperation that we need to fix this place, because if we don't, we are already going on a downward slope. All we're doing in the AG's office is dealing with triage. Everybody is just dealing with triage. They're not stopping the problem. That's why that billboard went up. 100% container checks. And it's not just that. Activate the National Guard. They're coming through the oceans. They're not even coming through the port. They're being dumped. That's why Jeff's, that year and a half ago when he called me, and by the way, I just spoke with the DEA agents, the federal DEA agents that were here. They know it's coming in through the oceans. Look at Bad Boys 2. That was the whole premise of that movie. They do the drops in the ocean, and I bet you it's the Chinese. They're providing
Yes.
the meth.
Mhm.
The fishing boats can only go out so far, but they're not coming in through the marina and through the Port Authority. They're coming in through down south. There's many different ways that
Right.
you can dock, put the trailer in and pull the boat in. They're also putting them off I'm hearing they're going on the reefs
Mhm.
and that there's divers going out, Micronesian divers that are going out there to pull the drugs in. That's why what Jeff discovered was consistent with our intelligence and what we're hearing. But who controls all this? It's the governor. Mobilize your National Guard. Those guys live for operations. Get their night scopes out, get their helicopter, whatever they've got. Do the operations and protect us because it's poisoning everybody in this community.
Yeah.
Kids are dying. They're becoming what is it? Useless.
Yeah,
It's just these kids are not being the same generation that we were.
So Doug, when they catch somebody with ice and they say, okay, where did you get this? And they say, okay, you're gonna take us there, right? And you go see that guy, and then you go see the next one.
Right. the
How
chains.
come it doesn't lead to the big one?
That's the question. But you're beginning to see it with the PUA case, with all these cases that are associated with taking the money. Where's the money going? And then look at the banks. First it was Coast 360, now it's Bank of Guam. That was in the last superseding indictment. It's all part of some form of organized racketeering that's going on. So the feds are best placed because they're getting the phone taps, they're getting the informants coming in. The PUA, two of them were Department of Labor employees, right? So the connection between the private and then the government, and then the individuals, the Rosalind, you look at his record, you see the connections. So that's why the laundering of the money, where's the money going? Why isn't Rev and Tax auditing? I got a whole list of names of companies that need to be audited. Why hasn't the criminal section of Rev and Tax, which by the way, isn't under the AG's office, it's directly under the governor. We fought the governor 20 years ago where I tried to say that they're under my purview. We were told that under the Organic Act, the governor controls Rev and Tax, the taxation function.
And
So
that's why we don't know where our money goes.
right, that's why
There's
the
no
audit function.
transparency for the taxpayer.
Right, that's exactly right.
Hey, Doug, can we humanize you a little bit? And I mean, obviously, this is really tough stuff. This is
It's deep.
nauseating. It's deep. It's war. We're on a war footing in regards to how methamphetamines and drug abuse and how it's destroying our families. But if we could pivot you, because what I've learned is attorneys are really great students of human nature. They seem to be really looking at people from a different lens and perspective, and especially if you've been doing it for many years. I don't think people can fool you too often in terms of their motivations, maybe some of the things that they might be hiding, because whether they're your client or they're the person that you're prosecuting, you need to understand their motivations. So here's this maybe cleansing question. What motivates somebody like Lulian Guerrero as the governor of Guam to not do some of these things that we're so frustrated that she doesn't do? She doesn't seem to be trying very hard to get rid of methamphetamines on Guam. She doesn't seem to be interested in protecting the borders. She doesn't.
It's a combination of things, right?
You said hubris before, but what else is there? Because hubris is.
It's the money. It's the greed and the money. That's what it always comes down
She
to.
has a lot of money though. She's $1 billion
There's never
banker.
enough, Vince. With these people that are like that, it's all about the money. It's the abuse of the money, and that's why I said the fiduciary duty. We're talking, looking at the problem and seeing what the nature of the problem is and how can it be fixed, right? So,
well, the problem is,
my opinion,
the problem is the governor of Guam. You're saying that she's all about the money.
Yes.
That the money is somehow blinded
Where's the
her to
contract?
taking care of her.
Where
people.
is the contract? Is taking the money that the governor
Where
was
is the
involved
contract?
with,
Where
right?
is the contract for banking services for the government of Guam after the Calvo administration? Why is it that the governor's DOA and the treasurer of Guam did not renew and bid out the banking services contract?
Yes, thank you for that.
During the COVID time,
Right.
$1 billion of money went to the Bank of Guam, and this governor, I don't care if she's got a blind trust, the fact that they don't have a contract that went through the procurement process to let Bank of Hawaii, let the other banks come in and bid for the services, so the taxpayers got the best price for the transaction. This is always going.
Okay. Let me just bring it back home, okay? Because if we just go down to the word, it matters to hopefully you out there who are going to like, share, and subscribe, and let everybody know we're talking about this issue very close to home. Pregnant women babies being born at a hospital that has gone on fire 4 times. The legislature didn't give 40 million, they gave 80 million to fix the electrical panel. They've had the money since November up at the hospital. They gave the responsibility over GPA. Simon Sanchez just told me yesterday it's not his problem. It does seem like that within this system, there is an avoidance of this very basic need to not let babies burn to death, right? And Jolene Uggan, you've been sitting on this for like 4 months, and I was going to say fucking, but you know, the thing is, that's what makes me mad, is we have this issue that's going to kill babies, right? And there's money, and there's a need, and there's a government, and they even added Charles Esteves to this. They sent him over to DPW to fix GMH.
Getting the worst of the worst to run this thing.
Let's not get personal. Doug, explain to me and to the people that are listening so they can share it with their friends, what motivates a Guamanian governor and her government
it goes
to
back
do
to
this dirty deed?
It goes back to the people that are running our government. They're not capable, either because of the money and the intent to defunct that hospital so they can build their dream project.
So you're telling me that she's purposely letting this thing run into the ground.
Well, they've always used that hospital for whatever they wanted.
For political purposes. So
a dumping ground.
Your question is, why is the hospital performing so badly when
Why is he
the
killing
legislature's
people?
giving them $80 million in order to fix it?
That's not just the board, okay? That 80 million covers more than just the electrical.
But fix the damn electrical panel. They're building a parking lot.
So what is wrong with this picture? The governor is the first problem. The second one is the one she's putting in charge there.
Lillian Uggan.
Well, I'm not going to say
Lillian Posadas. Why? Say their name. They made $200,000 a year. I'm looking at you.
It speaks for itself, right? The problem with all our good money, our taxpayer valuable money that's being dumped into the hospital, why is it that nothing's coming out of it that's actually making a difference? Why is it that everybody wants to get to GMRC when they're having a medical emergency?
Don't distract. Why is it that this government, under your watch, is being allowed to perpetrate this crime? You're the chief law officer.
Right.
They're violating the law.
Right. We've got the government corruption cases. We're fighting the judiciary in order to keep those government corruption cases. You see, every time that we file something, what is the first act? To replace the attorney general, to get him out of the picture. So we're working on that right now. I can't talk about the particulars of it, but there's investigative grand juries that are out there, and I cannot talk because it's grand jury.
When you talk softly like that, it calms me down. But hey, you know what? Let me tell you what you did do, right? You took the public health director, Art St. Augustine, to court and indicted him for corruption or whatever, because he was signing off on clean bill of sales for people to go to school
For
in
10 years.
right?
10 years.
So and then he like, I'm not the only one doing that, right? So then that's the thing is a bunch of government employees were caught with their pants down, signing off that the schools were safe when they were absolutely not safe, right? And then they're so proud of themselves because the court apparently throws it out and says, they didn't mean to do it. I mean, I don't know what standard you hold people to, Mr. Judge.
Right. So 2023, we indicted public health officials.
Art St. Augustine.
Right. The sanitary permits, they were never going out there.
They were lying.
All of them were going, all the schools were going down the tubes. And that was for over 5 years.
They were making people sick. They were making the students sick. They were making the teachers
sick. The whole thing was falling apart. But after we did that, the governor started to follow the law.
Yes.
And they started to do the inspections.
They cleaned the schools.
Now we're in the recovery phase of trying to get our kids their education that they're entitled to. So that's why I say, when you take, and by the way, my preference is to just indict people, because if you do a civil case, you're going to be in court for the next 10 years. Okay. So if they've committed a criminal act, they're going to get indicted under this AG. The government corruption, by the way, again, the hierarchy of needs. When you've got meth addicts that are killing the Valentine's Day murder, the Korean tourist that was killed, when you have that occurring because of the meth problem, and I have only a few lawyers that I can use, it shifts away the focus on the government corruption stuff because we're so busy managing the 8 judges, 2 magistrates. You need at least 10 lawyers in order to just manage the daily calendar. So we've only got about 35. Of course, the governor's not going to give us lawyers because it's the art of war, right? You weaken him there. You can't be spending the resources on going after that. But Governor, I got a message for you. The feds are out there. I've been meeting with them. They're on your track. So it's this idea that I will do whatever it takes in order to bring people back to that place where we are enjoying the quality of life that we had before. we're going down the tubes right now, but there's still hope. That's why I took Sunday to spend time with you all.
Thank you.
Because this is the way that we're going to change our community. We need to create the revolution. We need to take this government back, shake these government officials out, and throw them on their asses. Because you look at what they're doing to us. Never in Guam's history had we had so much money at our disposal, and never in Guam's history has our quality of life gone the opposite direction. That's the perfect indicator of a corrupt government, a banana republic, and we're showing the world that we're a banana republic. And that's what we need to do, is just take back this government and shake them up. We have smart people. You know, I know it. There's intelligence all over this island, but the governor has misdirected us.
But I do think we need to start a revolution.
Yeah.
As hard as it sounds, as hard as it sounds.
The evolution revolution.
Yes.
There you go.
You need to shake
Exactly.
Let me lighten up the mood. I
Let's
wanna,
talk about Iran.
no, that's not enlightening. Come on. No, I just wanted to share. It kind of became one of my favorite stories to tell lately. I just finished being active duty. Yay!
Yay! Thank you for your service.
And during one of the sessions for jury duty selection, I'm in a room full of probably over 100 people, well, waiting patiently, right? So the prosecutor and the team come over, and they had to apologize severely to the audience / jurors. We're really sorry, but we're gonna have to ask this question. Are you okay, or do you have any problem with the current signage placed by the Office of Attorney General? And I gotta tell you, out of 100 people, only 2 raised their hand. So you must be doing something right.
Yeah, and you know,
Why did they ask me the jurors?
Because when you're being selected as a juror, you need to be upfront with the judge and both teams. If you have, if you could be biased, yeah, it could be anything. But obviously, if you have a bias towards the Office of Attorney General, that means you're not going to rule in favor of
So
the
98% in this juror poll
true story.
approve of your billboards.
Yeah. Well, you know, and again, the
Live with
billboards,
that.
a lot of
Live with that.
yeah, thank you. A lot of the intent of the billboards is deterrence, to scare the criminals into following the law, because these are the consequences. These are the names. You know, it goes back to one of the attorneys once told me that in Britain, in the old England, right, they used to convict the person and then execute them, and then they let their bodies hang in the public squares. That was their form of deterrence back then. The billboards are a communication instrument, much like what you guys are doing here. But I like to laugh with the little kids and say that you can go on your podcast, you can go on your little phone, you're going to catch a certain amount there, but you will have to get in your car and drive by that intersection, and it will grab your attention whether you like it or not. So it was a tool in order to communicate with the client, my client, the people that elected me, and even the law-abiding, anybody in Guam, to give them the issue, to let them. Our billboards are most effective when there's controversy. When there's no controversy, it's kind of like, you want people to resonate, and then you want the other side to feel uncomfortable about it. Like when we put the faces up of all the criminals, of course, the grandmothers and the families are becoming indignant. You know, how dare you do that? That's not the Guam way, the tourist way, the island way. But at the same time, at that party, when that grandmother sees that grandchild that was on the billboard because they raped somebody or they hurt somebody, of course you're gonna get their ears tweaked and say you're embarrassing the family. That's what you do in a community.
Yeah,
I think it's important that at one time on Guam, we had a police blotter in the newspaper.
Right.
All the time.
Right. Yeah. We don't have it.
We don't.
We need that.
We need that.
You
back.
know, it helps me recognize, you know,
We'll do it.
oh, that's my ex-employee,
That's the
or
harm.
that guy applied for a job. But
That's right.
can you make that happen?
It's a Senate.
Even the magistrate thing, can't you?
Well, the
make that
magistrates, it does happen. And by the way, that's what we did. First thing I did when I came in was it's on our website.
Okay.
All the magistrates and all the data. And that's why I put first time in the age's history, the actual report to keep them in prison with their rap sheets. So it's being posted on our website. The medias are always using it. As you can see, the photos that are coming out.
Yeah.
But also just going back to Bistro real quick on the marketing side, I thought it was genius the way President Trump did the video shots. Every time you talked about corruption, they would zoom in specific congressmen and women, and they couldn't get away from it. It was It was brilliant. So when he talked about corruption, they zoomed in specifically on the Congresswoman of Minnesota, right? Michigan. I mean, like all the Maine.
But this is the public discourse we
Yeah.
get, and the good that comes from it when people are not prideful, when they realize we're nobody's perfect, and I of all people have my faults.
And Donald Trump as well.
Everybody.
Right, everybody has their fault. We're all human. But when it raises to the level of taxpayer monies, resources, and quality of life, which the government controls, you need to bring it out here. You need to have these podcasts out there, because when you talk about it, it translates into the community. When they vote for people, when they go to the senators and say, you have to look into this, public hearings, those are the important things.
What we like to do is discussion, and sometimes, yeah, we're debating. It's not a true interview because we all are regular voters here, and we want to be heard, and we want to ask the tough questions as any voter would do. And later on, it's between me and God and the booth. But at the same time, we owe it to our audiences to be able to see the reality, the real you as a candidate or any other leader out there, and say it as it is, because we demand honesty. We want to be very upfront, and everyone, of course, not everyone, but let's say 90% of the voters will appreciate exactly that.
Yeah.
That honesty and transparency, and showing who you are and what you really think about certain problems, issues, and this passionate approach. That's what we need to see. We don't want to see fluff. We don't want to see pageantry.
This might be for a later off the air, but I do have to ask this. I should have asked it before any question, but there are rumors that we have over 1,000 contracts still stuck through the pipeline, through the
No, that's all BS.
No.
This governor has pushed that bullshit since the time that I started fighting her and not doing the hospital. So no, you go to our website, you look at the tracker. I put the tracker on to diffuse that type of. There's a tracker. Look at the civil website. Okay. It shows when the contracts come in and the contracts get out. And I'm sick of this her subterfuge, what do you call it, propaganda, her gaslighting, whatever you want to call the current word is these days. But the point is that there's a truth, but there's this and this is conspiratorial. She's tanking my lawyers. She's trying not to have them paid. There's 2 lawsuits. There's one lawsuit. There's also another one coming that we're not paying. The money that I received as the Attorney General from the senators, her department administration is stopping it. They're doing everything they can, including my lawyer dealing with the abortion case, by the way, the Consovoy law firm. They haven't paid them in a year. So, this is actually, by the way, in the States, they're indicting people. And I've warned DOA, keep it up. And we're going to bring you before a grand jury and let them indict you. So you keep up stopping the money that was given to me by our legislature, and we're going to do that.
Yeah.
You are the chief law enforcement officer. There's only one individual in this island, and the people elect that person for 4 years to effectuate criminal prosecutions. And it is criminal when government employees use that fiduciary duty in order to interfere with other government officials from doing their duty. And the Attorney General's office is the top of the food chain on local law. And we will also refer them over to the feds when they have federal money that they're playing around with.
Well, I think right now, if you listen to Trump's address, did you hear the war on fraud? Did you hear him mention that? That is his new term. And I think that you should call him over here.
Yes.
And ask him to help us clean up our government.
Or say hello to
Because you want to have the war on It's your money, President Trump, that Guam is wasting on not inspecting and doing the right thing.
Department of Interior, we're in communication with the Department of Interior already. Their Inspector General, we've been meeting with them on this governor's administration on how she's interfered with the proper use of DOI monies and stuff like that. So 100% agree with you, Joe.
I think
that's the way it's done.
thing alone would get Trump pissed off.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
Because that's federal money.
The first thing they need to do is appoint a U.S. attorney for Guam and appoint the federal court. They need to, Guam, like it's been the last 2 presidents, is the last thing on the minds of the DC people. And that's why Doug Burgum, when we were there in February, I met Doug Burgum, and it's the idea that we're so far away from the United States that we're in all the events that are going on in DC, and they're trying to sack our governor too, the Democrats and all their little shenanigans they're doing. we need to have a united front. We need the governor, the attorney general, the speaker of the legislature, both parties to go visit the president's administration and the president.
I've
And
been saying the exact same thing
Yeah.
for quite a while.
that-
The exact
that's the
same.
only way. When we're fighting out here, they don't care.
They don't. And the thing is, we're not raising our voices loud enough to say it. They don't care. If we don't care, they're not ever gonna care.
We are the child of the United States. We are a territory of the United States and are entitled to the attention of our parent, which is DC. And our people of Guam are too busy fighting with each other and a governor that's ineffective to do what it takes to get their attention. They have to take care of us.
Andrea, we're
Do we have
running
any
up on the
questions?
top of that. Any questions?
You know, we do have a lot of questions. And first of all, I want to be transparent in the comments. Of course, we got Peter Santos, who's also running for AG.
And we'll be here next week.
And we'll be here next week. And Peter, you will have your time. And
Yes.
there's a bunch of questions to you, of course.
I'm sure he
You'll be sitting here.
As you can expect, and then you can ask him in the comments.
Your turn. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just gonna maybe mention one or two contacts is always important before we just throw it out there so people understand why that's in the comments. One question that Peter did ask is, let me just pull it up because there's tons.
We
he
didn't doubt that. We didn't doubt that, okay? Just be open.
What is the deal with your conviction rate? That's what he said.
It's great. 84. I think we won 2 trials on Friday. According to my team, he's the most losing defense attorney. He should spend more time helping his clients versus, going.
Yeah, it gets old, really.
The way we want to run everyone coming here, and Jeff has said this before, politics is not about putting other people down in their efforts.
It's raising the people up.
It's about,
Pirates had a great democracy, okay? They were a fine example,
Or walk the plank.
So our win rate, if that's what his question is solid.
Let me ask you this question directly, so PD. Why were 5 cases dismissed last week, right before trial? Prosecution said they weren't ready,
Yes, sir.
and they don't have enough prosecutors.
Well, he should know of all people that when you prepare for a trial, you don't go in and persecute people. So if my team sees that the witness is unavailable, there's many elements that go into presenting the case, especially a criminal case, where all 12 jurors on a felony must agree, or 6 in a misdemeanor. When my team tells me that the victim either doesn't want to testify or we're losing a particular part of it, then you need to pull back, not pursue the case, because nobody wants to be persecuted. And as an attorney general, I take that idea that when we put somebody before a jury, they better be guilty in our minds, looking at the evidence. And if we find evidence that shows that they're not guilty, or we can't meet our burden of proof, I'm going to be the first person to say, let's dismiss it without prejudice, reevaluate, and decide whether we're going to go in. Peter takes a simplistic approach, which is consistent with his background. He's got no civil background. He's never been an attorney general. And I don't know how many years that guy's been a lawyer, but it takes more than that to be an attorney general. You need to look at the truth strength. You need to look at the quality of the case. And then you got to realize these are people in our community that we do not want to persecute. We want to make sure that's a solid, righteous case against them.
And then we're moving on to Peter. We're moving on to Johnny. It's all he said, and I guess this is more of a, I don't know if this is a question in case there's a lot he says. The post office on Guam gets its now to the post. The mail isn't a problem in support that's addressed that. Met is a Guam problem starting with Josh.
The governor is the person that's responsible for our welfare. And the governor controls, as I said, the most money and an entire cabinet of officials that are the executive branch that affect everything that I just spoke the last hour about, the last half hour here. I agree that the governor has done a disservice to our people. The meth is a portion that's affected so many of our lives, from the amount of money we're spending to the destruction of individuals because of what that drug's doing to us. So, yeah, the governor is the source. When the AG, any attorney general, asks the governor to sit down with him and then to do 100% safety check at those ports for that meth drug in it, and she refuses to sit down with me, that's an indicator about her lack of fiduciary duty to our people.
But wasn't there, maybe that was connected to some news that we had, like in certain offices, government offices, meth has been found inside the government premises. So maybe that's what it was.
Wait a minute, that was actually in the Attorney General's office. That was my question is, what's up with the bag of meth found suspiciously in the conference room of the ITC building?
That conference room was open to the public. So our office is at the main Ganya branch. That was the ITC conference room for the crime victims. So we did the investigation. We drug tested that floor. I think there was 3 people that came up with positive tests on a certain division of the office. I sent a crime victims anti-crime legislation to the legislature, which included immediate termination of anyone found with meth. That's how bad meth is. That the police, the Attorney General's office, the law enforcement are finding meth addicts in their midst. That's the most dangerous thing that you can have. And I am the person that wanted them immediately terminated. I was informed that personnel gives them a safe harbor. So the first thing I did was send over to the legislature 4 law enforcement departments like the Attorney General's that immediate termination.
So how did it go? Did it get accepted? Is it?
Two of them, it's still waiting in the legislature.
It's in committee, the law?
It was introduced by our oversight chair.
Okay.
But we haven't had any action.
Who's your oversight chair?
Senator Taylor.
So Senator Titlegy, please, you live down this way. You know how bad meth is in the South. It's killing our families. We need to be serious if our own law enforcement officers, people working in the Guam Police Department, the Fire Department, or the Attorney General AG's office can't be trusted to keep themselves sober. How can they enforce the law?
Exactly.
So too at the hospital, Jolene. Again, we've been insisting that since you took office day one, that you test the hospital people because we know they're on meth. They act like they're on meth. They don't behave like a real hospital when they tolerate the fire code violations, when they see how bad the hospital is operating, and then they come up with cockamamie ideas like building parking lots, and there are no contractors there. You know, the thing is they have this big show. So the point is, test all the government of Guam tomorrow and every other day. What are you scared of, Lou? Test your people. If you think any of this stuff that we're saying is malarkey, test your people.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. Lead by walking around and test for ice because it's here.
And then get them out of the government. You need to.
That's the thing. Don't baby these people.
But you know, Vince, the meth is infiltrating everything because of the price is so low and the quantity is so high. Governor, 100% inspections at the port and get the National Guard watching our island beaches. It's coming in at night. It's coming in, and we know it because the price is so low and everybody getting arrested every day. I look at the arrest reports. Always PCS, possession of controlled substance. We got meth addicts running around there. It's triage. That's why this conversation, we've gone down into talking about, hey, let's bring in some Taiwanese company in here and increase our quality of life by more prosperity, more money coming into Guam, especially to the private industry. This government is top heavy.
Now, just what you just meant, I don't know, did you see the exchange between Senator Tyler Wee and George Chu regarding Taiwan?
I did not read into it. No.
Oh man, I'm gonna probably joke.
So George Chu is the chairman of the Guam Visitors Bureau, and he got banged on by Titlegy, who accused him basically of being a Chinese spy. George Chu is a graduate of John F. Kennedy High School. He was basically a mini Bruce Lee in the 70s and 80s. It is highly unlikely he's a Chinese spy. At any rate, Senator Titlegy may have crossed the line, but she has to answer for that for herself. George Chu, as best we can tell, is a good man, and I'll vouch for him. But the point is, whether anybody vouches for anybody, we need to do drug testing. I'm going to tell George Chu to do a drug test. I'll tell Titlegy to do a drug test.
And the danger with that, Vince, is that this week you find 10 drug addicts. Next week you're going to find another 10 drug addicts because the price is too low and people are using it like some sort of what do they call that? That type of drug. It's a it's like
It's a
leisure drug. It's a drug that is so available.
Fooling around with
the effects are exactly what people that like to drink. They have that delirious.
No, it's worse than okay. So stay in your lane, lawyer.
Right.
This is an amphetamine. This is the stuff that we shoot people up when their heart's stopping. This is a very potent chemical. It does really crazy things to your body. Quit messing around with it. You don't know what you're doing. And the high that you think you're having is just because you don't want to engage in responsible behavior. Why are we letting the government of Guam employees be on this stuff, Governor Liu? It's not necessary. There are very good people in the government of Guam doing very good work, but not when they're high on crack,
Right.
ice. It's really, and crack's a different drug, but.
Right, but it's the idea that you stop some of them today or you detect them, you're gonna have a whole group tomorrow because there's too much drugs coming in Guam.
I disagree again, lawyer. There's a finite number of people who are stupid enough to engage in this behavior. Most of us, I mean, I'll vouch that at least one of us is negative for methamphetamines, including me on this panel. Not everybody wants to do ice. I mean, I have access to it all over the
The
place.
problem is that the numbers aren't supporting that. You look at the people getting arrested every day.
Then why isn't our government testing people? I mean, the thing is, I'm going to just say, you're the lawyer, you're the chief law enforcement officer. Get your damn governor to start testing everybody.
It's not my damn governor, but I mean, yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's the thing is,
I think the group of ice users is growing as is more available, like
That's what
you
I'm saying.
said. And I do
Gonna
know
drive the price up.
it's a lot cheaper because I've been told that it used to be like so much a gram and now it's like 1/3
Oh,
that
yeah.
cost right now. And a lot of these people that are poor could never afford
Right,
it.
so it's not
Now they
changing
can
them,
afford it,
it's
you know?
preventing them from getting it. That there's a positive effect that occurs in the community. So, but you know, this whole, this debate that my good friend Vince has, he is the doctor, he is the guy. When I'm being told by Dr. Nine that we've got these autopsies that are coming out,
yeah.
and the bodies are coming up with meth in them. They didn't die with, but they had meth in them. You know, this
he was the chief medical examiner, and he was astounded. Even the current one is. I mean, the number of young people dying from this stuff accidentally because they think that they're getting away with something. Just stop doing meth. I know it's a tough thing to tell people to do, but do it. Quit
So
doing that.
how battle with addiction then needs to move forward, because from what I understand, we don't have enough treatment facilities.
Oh, the governor would love that. Increase the social work, the end effect symptoms of it. And you talk to people at those drug treatment facilities. The drug dealers are using that in order to find out who else is the other drug dealers out there. It's becoming a nest of being played by the drug dealers in order to find out who's competing against them in the market out there. Again, I go back to that thing. Reduce the amount, increase the price, so people are still going to be taking whatever they want. They'll move to alcohol and other things other than that drug.
Go back to the grassroots. Where is the grassroots campaign? This is your brain on drugs.
Right.
There's no campaign.
Right.
There's nothing.
No awareness.
Oh, I mean, one pill will kill. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when I listen to that, I mean, if you didn't know what the commercial was going to say, you could be like, you don't really know what, there's no campaign. There's no grassroots as far as going after and putting something out there for everybody.
We
In
had
the
the billboard,
schools.
meth kills, be smart, don't start. But we're just one. Where is the governor? Where is the community, as you're saying?
Public health.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's, and it's great that
Wick.
got in, because their
Expel
whole
them.
infrastructure
Yeah.
for that social services network just lost all their money.
Mhm.
So they don't have the ability to fund these and to create the cycle of addiction. This dependency
Mhm.
upon social workers, upon counselors. They've lost that funding now. So, good luck.
And just anecdotally, we all hear like, the police knows where the drugs are. They know where the dealers are. And people were asking, I've heard this numerous times, why nobody's going after the drug dealers when they know where the house is at and they know the traffic that's in and out? What's your take on it? Why?
The police actually are putting together cases. It takes time. They are getting, and we do have the cases, the feds are doing it as well. But again, we're at the end with the symptoms part. We're at the end part of the equation. We need to stop the end. This is an island. There's only so many ways you can get that drug in. And I know it's not coming in the quantities through the planes. It's coming through the beaches and those containers. That's where it's coming in.
So technically, to reiterate, we just need to cut off the supply and
Yes.
take of everything. So
It will
internet-
start to have
in a
a
nutshell.
positive effect.
Yeah.
Our people will not become addicted to that. We're going to have a better workforce that can help us bring our economy up and keep the Chuck E. Cheeses on Guam, keep these game works. We've lost so much in the last
We've
20 years.
lost, and we're on the way to lose a lot more than we've lost. So God help us.
In an honest effort to maybe lower the temperature and just try to get everybody maybe ready to enjoy the rest of their Sunday. I mean, when you talk about GameWorks or Chuck E. Cheese, I hate to tell you you're dating yourself because those things have been closed for years.
Right. And then the one that opened up right after it
I think
just closed.
it just closed
So,
too.
but I mean, this is what the memories and being alive mean. That you take your kids there, our movie matinee thing. We're taking photos with the parents, the non-custodial parents and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, this is the stuff that you and I remember, Vince, when we were going to school. Bishop Baumgartner, Father Duenas, raising our kids. It's the memories, the parent-child relationship, the bonding that occurs. You can't bond with a meth addict. You can't bond with a criminal. These are the things that we need to fix in society so that we can do what Charlie's doing. Bring in the businesses, start helping the small businesses are critical for a capitalist. Jeff's Pirates Cove, beautiful place. The fact that Jeff has weathered all the travesties of this island is amazing. You know, it's just, we need to bring back the business. I grew up in a business family. We don't rely on the government to generate and to hire everybody.
Absolutely.
You rely upon the private sector.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there.
That's what we're losing with this governor.
And we'll just remind people to then get in your car, come on down to Jeff's Pirates Cove. It's beautiful. It's nice and cool day. The barbecues are going well. But then Jeff, you know, and out of the generosity of his kind heart, was telling us before the broadcast started about a new restaurant, or a restaurant that he recently went to. You want to tell us a little bit about the place that you were bragging about this morning?
Well, I like a place called the Minos in front of the Sandcastle.
Yeah.
They got a great staff and a great view where you can sit there and think you're in New York or someplace looking at, of course, it's a ghost town in Timor, but there is a little more traffic there than other places. And the prices weren't bad and it was a good place, Aminos.
I've been there. I'm sorry, Mark Valdica, because I think that's his place.
Yeah, that's fine.
He owns the Sandcastle, and he's a great guy. And I mean, it looks like he spent a lot of money and thought and effort into creating that place. So, based on your recommendation, I'll make sure I take my family there. I'll make my recommendation. I went to the Nico's Japanese restaurant. I can't remember the name of it. No, yeah, it has a beautiful view of the beach. No, I think it's called Isen. It might be. No, anyway, it's a Japanese restaurant. Okay, whatever it is. But it was a Friday. They had a great shabu shabu, all you can eat, and sukiyaki, lots of vegetables, really well thought out. But the best thing was the staff. I was bragging earlier. You could just tell they were from Ukudu High School, and it turns out they were probably part of the culinary arts program. They're just so professional. They're so young. I mean, they look like kids, but they know how to just work in a restaurant and really keep things going. That was a great experience.
That was Tole. Was it Tole?
Probably was, yes. And so anyway, it was at the Nico Hotel. It's a Japanese restaurant. Please go there. You want to get a review? We got to go to a really cool restaurant together. His restaurant. Review his restaurant.
Charlie has a restaurant.
Those fried mushrooms, I gotta say, were killer. So I vouch for the mushrooms.
It was good.
Yeah.
We actually just rolled out the spam fries, which it wasn't on the menu, and it's because
Spam fries.
That's what I had. I really liked it.
Yeah, they're becoming a real hit. Yeah,
I said, no, I don't want
low
those.
sodium.
I
Actually,
ate them. I was
we're using low sodium spam. So just somebody asked us yesterday.
FYI.
And just in case people don't know, the name of your restaurant, where is it?
Beans and Barrels, the old poke fry.
Yes.
Come through
Yeah, right there on that nice curve going up towards Mighty, right? And so instead of going to the crowded, congested downtown Agania where all the politicians are going to be tonight, go to. Are you guys open?
Yeah, we're open Monday through Sunday, and it's really one of the things that we're starting to see is the community really come out and blend. I mean, because we actually have a coffee shop, it's a bar, and then a wine bar, so you get a taste of a little bit of everything. And the crowd has been just kind of blending in. It's phenomenal to see the all different groups just kind of come together and blend. I mean, that's exactly what our vision was, and it's coming together because of the food. And I think it's.
Well, I think you and Jess are doing a good job.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
The food is always something you can, like here. I've been working 47 years. Trying to improve what I have, that's something.
And we thank you for the. You could have charged a lot of money for the recommendations and advice that you give, but thank you for the advice that you've given us.
Isn't it awesome when entrepreneurs support each other?
Oh no,
that's my favorite.
Well, that's why there should be like a casual restaurant bar association, not the hotel.
Right.
Right.
The small
We
guys
have
association.
ones that
The pirate hotel
buying
restaurant,
and
pirate
dealing with the
restaurant
same
association.
problem, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
So what time is it, Andrea?
Well,
I don't think we need to do our survey today, do we?
Yeah. To get those hits, we got to keep you involved. Like, share, subscribe.
Before we move on to this, there's one thing that I think we should probably address, which is Project Dignity.
Oh.
Can you tell the
Absolutely. The Project Dignity Project was designed around the 1930s Great Depression, when you have people in Guam that are homeless, people that are meth addicted, people that need help. You can't be the Attorney General without understanding that the community needs all the resources that the attorneys can provide. And one of them is the think tank, the ability to take the money from and provide a proposal to the Opioid Council, which gets all this money from these private settlements that come in from the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
The AG's office is head of that. The Attorney General is head of the chairman of the Opioid Council. We came up with the design. We had everything ready. And don't get me started on how the governor, with her little politics thing, I'm going to get it done, Governor, and it'll be the next governor that's going to do it for us. But I mean, it was designed to give somebody a evening of meal, shower, opportunity for the requesting the welfare benefits, and then a job opportunity. That is the design. It was one day from being implemented. We're going to get it done. No excuses, despite this Governor Leland Guerrero and her little cabal that she runs up there. So that is something that I think Guam needs, because we don't have it. We've got all these, like the governor, lieutenant governor, with his idea of building these, retrofitting apartment complexes. That was 3 years ago. When I came in, we did the homeless relocation initiative with the mayors and including the lieutenant governor. But for some reason, they torpedoed it after we were relocating those people at the Dedito Mall, which we cleaned up, by the way, with the help of DPW and the infrastructure that we paid our tax dollars for. So I'm hoping that, and I'm intent on doing it. If I get reelected in this next election cycle, we're going to get it done, and we're going to do it without her, because she has been the bane on society for helping out our poor. Our poor and homeless, they can be helped out, and I see it with a job at the end of the equation, whether it's a day job. They talk about cleaning those restrooms, public restrooms and stuff. Carl Gutierrez came up with the idea back in 2023 when I was at GBB. Give them a day's work of $100 a day, and just let them, these homeless people, give them the opportunity, because work brings dignity. And that's exactly what we're going to get implemented. I'm going to get it implemented. And this governor isn't going to stand in the way, or her little cabal out there.
You know, the mayor did a long also said this: if you give people the opportunity to work daily, you give them a chance to
Just make it up
Yes.
as I go on.
contribute. And regardless of what we're facing here, whether it's a drug problem, whether it's homelessness, everyone deserves dignity. Can you explain the design in front of Avalue in terms of the tent city?
Okay, we know that there's homeless encampments throughout Guam. I've been working with the mayors. We know exactly where they are. More of them are up north, but see, this is the thing with the social workers. Get in your cars that are paid for with our money and the federal money, pick them up, taking them down to a facility, a location. We did it up north with the Dedito Flea Market when we cleaned out that encampment. Bring all of them together with public health, Department of Labor, mental health. Everybody can be at one location to give them the help. We're all Guamanians here. These are not people that are in the cities that you don't know who they are, where they come from. That's the type of community spirit that I would support and to fulfill as part of my job as the Attorney General. We're not just arresting people. We have the civil side, we have the ability, we have the knowledge of the rules, and we can get it done. That's what we need. A governor and attorney general working together to help us.
Okay. We're moving on to the game. Everybody who's watching and who will watch in the future, this is a game that you can play online with us at hafahour.com. The point of this game is to help you understand that you can shift the tide with your vote. You can play every single day across the gubernatorial election, senatorial, and the board positions as well, and even AG. But we're only going to do the gubernatorial candidates at the moment. Now, the point of this game is for the week, you can give a +1 or -1 to one individual team. If you want to avoid this topic, you can choose Charlie and Jeff because their card is in there. But play along with us at hafahour.com. and you can shift the tide with your +1 or -1. So we're gonna start from Jeff, then Doc, and then we can go with you.
How come we always want to be first, you know? You're second.
Jeff, you go first.
Okay, I'll go with my -1. It's for Josh because I haven't seen anything happen from that camp, and I think if they started cleaning up the cars or did something sensible, they might be something good for the island. And that's my minus.
Yes, sir.
And there's my plus is me and Charlie, because I keep trying to talk Charlie into running as an independent for governor, and I'll help him out. And not thinking that any of the candidates would be as good for the island as we would be.
Oh.
So that's my plus.
Thank you, sir.
My -1 will be for Tony Ada, because for the same reasons that the pirate is criticizing Josh Tenorio. Tony Ada is in office right now. He's the vice speaker. He had a lot of great ideas when he came into studio, and obviously he's a guy that wants to get things done. We need him to get things done now. Now, yeah, you could say I need to hold Frank Bloss Jr. to that same accountability, and I do, and I've done it before. But I'm going to hold you accountable, Tony, because you can't just smile, be good looking, and be nice. We need things done. Apparently, there's a lot of money going through the legislature that's not doing what it's supposed to do, like this abandoned vehicle thing. So please, as a very powerful senator who's running for governor, get things done now. Otherwise, we're just going to assume that you're going to be like Lou. A lot of promise, a lot of great ideas about health insurance for the entire island. Never happened. So don't be that guy. You're -1 this week. My +1 is Josh. I'm going to say that Josh actually is making a big step forward because he's coming in here next week. Here's the thing. Well, I'm just rewarding good behavior because I'm going to say, look, Doug had to drag him in here. He didn't want to be here. You ignored my calls many times. But yeah, until he saw that Peter Santos was going to be in next week, he said, oh, okay. Oh, then he got all dressed up. Yeah, no, but at any rate, Josh, we love you. I know we've been giving you a hard time, but it's only because we love Guam. And we just need things to be better. You're the governor. You were the governor this week. And I guess you had to shepherd in some really powerful people from the federal government, and that must have been a hard job. But man, don't be calling Teresa Chalayi a liar. That's not a good look. But I'm still giving you a +1.
Sweet.
We're gonna go to Bishra, then Charlie, and then you'll be last.
Okay, sorry, -1 for Josh because I did not like how he treated a very popular senator, very loved popular senator around here, and I'm sure he upset a big portion of the voter out there. So not a good idea. So that's my minus, and then my plus. Because I love being here, I'm gonna give you my plus.
The boys in blue.
Because I love conversing and I love the conversation that we have before we even start shooting. So that's my plus for today. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for thanking me.
Okay, my -1 goes to Senator Joe St. Augustine again. Being, seeing the business firsthand now, being in the food and beverage business gives me a completely different respect for all those who have the food trucks, small businesses selling food, those folks that are getting minimum wage. And, for him, I haven't seen anything revised on his proposed bill on minimum wage. So my -1 goes to him. And then my +1, and we're very transparent. It's myself and Jeff. And the reason why is because we had a very informal meeting. And I think that, the topics of discussions are in line with the changes that need to happen on Guam, and they're very straightforward. So that is my plus.
That's like nepotism.
Good work, Charlie.
Except you're appointing yourself. That's even beyond nepotism. Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's allowed.
I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own favorite. What is that? Okay.
You're up, sir.
it's bad to be an attorney general because it's always pointing the fingers, right? So I don't want to be offended, but I'm kind of put on the spot here.
Yes.
I'm trying to be positive, right? That was the whole idea of the Sunday.
Unfiltered.
But based on what I just said, I have to say that, and I like Josh, but if I have to deal with another 4 years of this governor, or anyone that may be a puppet of this governor, I have to give him a negative one.
Okay.
But opportunity to prove me wrong.
Absolutely.
If I was fortunate and Josh was fortunate to be trusted by our people again. So that would be there. And I have to give a +1, although I want to give it to Charlie. I will say that I'm going to be having a 95 thesis that's going to be coming out. And the 95 thesis is going to be worded around the Martin Luther, the Reformation that the Protestant church did with the Catholics. There's going to be a thesis that's going to come out on what it would take to get this Attorney General's support as a governor. And I will give credit to Tony Atta, that he actually sat with me and that we were discussing how we could help our people if our people trusted both of us in the next election. I will say that I will be working with a meeting with the Speaker Blas and Ms. Okada to see if we can also work that. I will be going to each one of the candidates, and I've already started talking to Therese to a certain extent.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, this is what we need. Stop focusing upon we as individuals and start looking at how we can work together. I, of all people, hate fighting with people. I don't like lawyers, and the fact that I'm a lawyer, I'm sorry, I've said that many times, I don't like lawyers because they take the talent and then they become ugly people and then they hurt us with their talent. So there's only a few attorneys that can call us friends. So that's my feeling. Put me on the spot with this thing.
Sure, very good.
The biggest question before we end the show, which we ask every single person who comes to Hafa Hour, is: have you heard the song yet? Have you danced to the Hafa Hour?
The Hafa Hour?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Just follow us. Just follow us.
Just follow you.
So we're gonna play on our way out, and then we just dance and have fun because it's all about unfiltered conversations and a little dance.
We're super lazy dancers because we do it on our chairs.
Thank you, Doc. Only 2 F-bombs. Thank you.
Yes.
We'll see how the Sunday ratings comes out with the.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lightning conversation. Way to get the blood going on a Sunday.
Right?
I hope Mr. Taichino's still okay. He's been waiting for us.
Oh, yeah.
Dying of starvation.
God.
We're gonna play this song, but in the meantime, you guys can talk.
We're talking. Yeah. So, thanks, Doug. We're thinking about a debate somewhere down the line.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Part of the job.
So we'll figure out how that's all gonna work out. Especially there seems to be more and more.
Here that I come alive from just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right.
There it is.
Captain Jeffrey P. The compass true. Andrea on the map. One direct you coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud.
This hand moving does.
AMC crowd.
This is like the traffic cop one,
Leaning close to the real talk run. How good ya
Do the piece.
everybody has one. No wish on this ship.
Do the rolling the
No fear in
pizza.
our eyes.
Yes.
Raise the sails to the truth. Watch the whole
canoe.
place
Oh
rise.
yeah, the canoe. Got the canoe with the canoe.
Favorite.
Yeah. The song's only 3 minutes long.
I can't do the other.
God. Yeah. Good exercise.
Sing it, don't filter it.
Can
Warm
use
sauce
your
for
shoulder.
true sick a year we deliver.
Oh, makes you lovely.
Yeah, but Charlie's crazy.
Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered.
Giving it a
Get
little
it
bit
to
of that.
Santa Rita in Alohan too. Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you. Don Farrell in the room. Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions. Make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada Camacho names in the race. No banners on this day. Just true to face. Independent pirate party. Stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue. Answer the call. Clap, clap. Lean in close. Let the real talk run. I got ya to month. Everybody has one. No hush on the ship. No fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth. Watch the whole place rise.
Look how. Without.
Enough already.
Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered.
We want to go to the barbecue.
Hafa Hour,
Yeah,
Guam
it smells so
Unfiltered.
good on the way.
Ahoy, sing it. Don't
Almost done.
Okay. One more lap. Yeah.
Adios.
Adios, Guam.
Adios.
Thanks for tuning in.
I'll let you know when the mic is not on.
Thanks for tuning in.
And like, subscribe, and share.
Do we have a show for Dave Duenas still?
Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm so cold.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Hey, Douglas, good seeing you.
You've been working on the farm.
I'm always
Got
cold.
callus.
My hands.
What's an attorney general doing with callus?
Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seen each other.
It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on one man to save us
Take a deep breath and tell me exactly what happened.
We were outside the outlets when someone tried
Right. Under these statutes, you don't have the authority.
We will stand tall, face it all together.
Responsible gun ownership is the law.
That sky falls.
Coming from that appellate.
now.
Before they realize what we know.
I understand the
When worlds collide in the days of
Don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers. Yeah, we deliver.
Guam, stand up, keep running.
Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye. Oh, for I die Guam. Hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pigwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map. Guam director coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. How good nya to man. Everybody has one. No wish on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy. Sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true sika, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Chalo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya tutumon, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies bridge when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa Guam.